Hello, Keto Nomad watchers and YouTubers and RV Rebel Girl watchers. I am going to the city buffet to meet up with a friend. I haven't eaten all day, waiting to come here. Ooh, such a pretty tree. Here's my friend Nelf, my BFF. Hi! I hope it's not too hard to find some keto items on this buffet that I can eat. I did okay. I stuck to salmon and a few other things that were low carb. Almost New Year's Eve. I'm ready. So I decided to make my frozen chocolate cheesecake for custard, I guess you could call it. I also make like fudgicles out of it, or chocolate ice cream fudgicles out of it, with it being a cheesecake fudgicle. I'm gonna make it for New Year's Eve for me, and I'm also gonna make a kind of like refrigerator squares, with a crust. I'm gonna make an toasted almond crust with just almond flour and melted butter, and if you like, you can add some cinnamon or whatever you like. But with the chocolate filling, I'm not going to add anything into it, no sugar, etc., no sweetener. And I'm going to use my cocoa, and I'll use my cream cheese, and I'm going to make a batch and a half. So a batch and a half is going to be 12 ounces of cream cheese, and it will be 3 cups of heavy whipping cream. I'll be putting in 3/4 of a cup of monk fruit and 3/4 of a cup of cocoa. Now, if you look at the actual single batch recipe I've previously posted, it would want me to put more sweetener in there and more cocoa, but I've kind of cut it just a little bit less than a full cup of cocoa and less than a full cup of actual monk fruit sweetener. I'll also be putting in a little bit of vanilla extract and a little salt also as well. So I'll up that recipe to be a teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract and a teaspoon of salt to pop the flavor. And it is keto, it is low carb because there's not too many carbs in the cheesecake batter, but there is some carbs in the almond crust. So you gotta watch your carbs and just do the math and eat small pieces if you can, because this is young good. And with whatever I don't end up putting into the refrigerator squares, I will be putting into individual pudding cups or cheesecake puffs. It'll just be the batter itself with no crust on it. And I can't wait. Yum yum, so good. It's all cooked in one pan, so it's pretty easy. But the problem I usually have is getting the cream cheese to blend in. So like I said, this is a variation of a previous recipe I made on my RV Rebel Girl channel. So if you see the crust on this, it's just going to be the butter mixed in with the almond flour, and I patted it down, put it in the pan, stuck it in the freezer for about 15 minutes to half an hour. Then when my cheesecake mixture was ready, I poured it into the dish. As far as, and then put them all in the refrigerator, put them in individual cups, and they're going to taste wonderful. But I did cook them on the stove. So what you do is you put it all in your pot, one pot cooking, and cook it over your stove until you can get all the ingredients to blend in. And once they're blended in and at about 170 degrees, then they're ready to go. So as you can see, this is after the first night. I'm gonna have a piece here because what I did was I made myself my avocado dip, which is avocado, red onion, some garlic salt, Tabasco salt, a little lemon juice, and some Tabasco because I like a little bit of heat. And I fried up some maple bacon which was really good. Maple bacon is 0 carbs. The avocado is 1.6, I think, per whole avocado. And the sour cream is like nothing, almost nothing. Anyway, and that is all I've actually had all day today because I really wasn't hungry besides a cup of coffee. And right now I've got a little sweet tooth going on, and here I have this dish that I made that I can have for my nighttime sweet craving that I often get. Sometimes I like sweets, sometimes I like to just have an hors d'oeuvre like some pepperoni and Swiss cheese or something like that that's 0 carbs. But tonight I am going to treat myself, and it is going to be a higher carb count, okay? And this is what my refrigerator cheesecake looks like that I made. Now you can see the toasted almond crust does look a little moist. It did get a little soggy. The last time loosen it with a knife before I scoop it out, and I use my rice scooper because it's just the perfect size to get it out in a whole piece. So there's, if you cut it the way I do, because I like big portions because I love this stuff, whether it be pudding or cheesecake. And this is how the pudding is in here, and this is about 2/3 of a cup, half a cup to 2/3 of a cup that fits in these little containers that I keep in the refrigerator for a dessert. It's a cheesecake dessert with no crust. Back to the refrigerator cheesecake. So with this batch that I made like 3 half batches. If you look at my half batch recipe that I previously made in another video. And I'm able to get 6 big slices for the cheesecake, refrigerator cheesecake. And I also was able to get 5 of those containers, which are just over a half a cup, which is great. So that's 11 servings. So you would divide these carbs up into 11 servings. It'll be a little high in carbs, but every once in a while, you don't want to really deprive yourself. It's good food, it's good fat, and it has sweetener in it and not sugar carbs. Okay, so let me plate this up. My rice cooker spatula that came with my rice cooker is just perfect for this pan, like I mentioned, and everything comes right out and slides right onto my plate. Isn't that cool? It doesn't fall apart. If you like, you might want to toast the breading, the crust a little bit more, but also if you wanted to, you could cook the crust in your oven instead of putting it in the freezer. You could actually bake the almond flour crust with the melted butter. It's your choice. Doesn't that look good? One of the key issues is getting all the cream cheese to blend, and baking is not my forte, even though I like to cook for myself, and I'm getting better and better. But I probably next time we'll whip the cream cheese and the eggs together and the milk together, and then stick it in the pan on top of the stove with the sugar and cocoa and with the other ingredients, and that might get a smoother batter, because sometimes I can see the little pieces of itty bitty little pieces, fine pieces of cream cheese. And it's egg yolks, not the whole entire egg. So I wish they sold egg yolks separately like they do egg whites, but they don't. And you can top it with a little whipped cream. I have some ready whipped cream, which is it's 1 carb for 2 tablespoons. Who knows how much that is. I didn't measure it. It's probably 2 tablespoons. But, and this is so good. I love it. See? Yum, yum. Very chocolatey, and it's just as good the second night. Bon appetit, my friends. Keto Nomad watchers and YouTubers. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year. Happy 2022. I wish you all good health and happiness. Have a great day.